I'm Marilee Caruso. It's Wednesday, February 25th. Today, arrests after a series of school threats.
The impact that they've had on our city, on our students, on our teachers, on our families is very real.
How many threats have been called in recently, and how many people have been arrested? Also today,
people were leaving the beaches and
then we heard a loud bang.
a nightmarish vacation. Manitobans begin returning from Puerto Vallarta after a clash between the cartel and government forces. Plus, a citywide slowdown where city officials want to drop the speed limit. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Parents are being urged to talk to their kids tonight about the serious consequences of making threats against schools. It comes as nearly a dozen threats have been directed at Winnipeg schools this month alone.
If you haven't already, please sit down with your children tonight. Explain the gravity of these actions. There are real life consequences for those who choose to participate or engage in this type of behavior.
Winnipeg police have responded to 11 calls regarding school threats between the 3rd and 19th of this month. That's about one every other day. None of them have been deemed credible. Now, to date, 3 people have been arrested, including a 13-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 30-year-old woman from Toronto. A 10-year-old was also referred to the provincial Turnabout program, which helps children under the age of 12 avoid getting caught up in the justice system. 2 of the investigations have ended without any criminal charges. Police noted the threats can cause a lot of trauma, even when they turn out to be fake, and they consume an enormous amount of police resources. Manitobans trapped in Puerto Vallarta have started returning home. Our cameras were there as the first flight from Puerto Vallarta touched down here in Winnipeg last night. CTV's Daniel Helmerson joins us now with the relief many of those travelers expressed as they stepped off the plane. Danny, this really has been a harrowing experience for many.
It truly has, Marilee. One couple was just leaving a bar where they'd been watching the gold medal men's hockey game when the trouble began.
started noticing when we were leaving back to the condo that some things were not quite right.
A lot of local people were on their phones. They were hearing the news, and we didn't know what was going on.
People were leaving the beaches, and
then we heard a loud bang, like a boom, like in the community.
Helen Perry and David Moore were just wrapping up a 3.5-week stay in Nuevo Vallarta, about 8 kilometers from Puerto Vallarta, when the violence erupted. Back at their condo, they watched as the chaos unfolded from the roof, seeing multiple explosions in the distance. Also back in Winnipeg as of Tuesday night was Cheryl Thomas, who described the scene at the airport as very packed.
There was no place to sit. There was big, huge lineups for food at the airport. I did hear that some of the people had been stuck there since Sunday, and they were still waiting to try and get out of there.
Thomas was also staying several kilometers away from the most dangerous areas. She says she appreciated the calm and reassuring manner of the Mexican authorities on the ground. They told her and fellow vacationers everything was going to be okay so long as people stayed indoors. Perry says this is like nothing they've ever experienced before. They say the Puerto Vallarta airport was insane, with lots of people and flights going out.
Yeah, speaking of that, Daddy, do we know how many Canadians are still stuck there?
Well, as of Tuesday evening, Marilee, more than 61,000 Canadians in Mexico have registered with the Global Affairs Canada registration system. Global Affairs said this offers a general estimate of Canadians in the region, as registration is voluntary. Now, David Moore did tell us they have some friends who are still stuck in Mexico and can't get a flight home until Sunday.
All right, thanks for this, Danny. City administrators want you to slow down when driving through Winnipeg. After years of pilot projects, research, and community feedback, the Public Service is recommending lowering the city's default speed limit to 40 kilometers an hour. It's currently set at 50 kilometers an hour unless otherwise posted. The key reason for the proposed reduction is safety. The Public Service says its analysis shows lowering the default speed limit would reduce fatal collisions by 10 to 20% and major injury collisions by 6 to 12%. If accepted, the plan would have far-reaching consequences for the city. The report says the new speed limit would primarily affect residential streets and collector streets. Those are the higher traffic streets that go in and out of neighborhoods. It says collector streets would either need to have calming traffic measures added, as they're designed for more traffic, or the speed limits could remain at 50. The downtown area would need its own review to find out which streets could be lowered to 40 as well. Manitoba RCMP are warning the public about an online scam involving fraudsters who are pretending to be police officers. This scam begins with a person getting a random text or email which includes a link to a video conference with someone claiming to be an officer. They say you'll be arrested unless you help police by sending gift cards or Bitcoin. Now, to convince people they're legitimate, Mounties say these criminals are giving out the real RCMP general line phone number. RCMP are reminding the public it is never going to ask you for money to be transferred or for your personal information to be provided by text. Mounties will also never ask you to provide remote access to your computer. The province's chief medical examiner has ordered an inquest into the death of a 19-year-old international student who was fatally shot by police during a mental health crisis. Afolabi Opaso, who was from Nigeria, was shot and killed during a well-being check in December of 2023. Alberta's police watchdog investigated and ultimately ruled the officer who fired was defending himself at the time, as Opaso ran at him while armed with 2 knives. The purpose of the inquest is to officially determine the circumstances leading to a person's death and what, if anything, can be done to prevent similar deaths in the future. The inquest is one of 6 announced today. 3 have to do with fatal police shootings, while 3 others are connected to drug overdose deaths while in custody. City Councillor Janice Lukes wants to cut to the chase when it comes to bike lanes on Wellington Crescent. She's bringing forward a motion to scrap plans for temporary bike lanes and instead go directly to permanent ones. A new report from city administrators is recommending an engineering consultant design and build an interim bike lane. Typically, they would then monitor bike and vehicle traffic before working on a design for a permanent lane. But Lukes wants to scrap that step and go straight to a permanent solution.
If we make this permanent, that's also going to solve problems with delivery trucks, with challenges with parking. So I think it's going to be a win-win for everyone. For the cyclists, without a doubt, permanent provides better protection than temporary.
A public engagement report identified mixed support for a potential bike lane. While 88% of responding cyclists were in favor, roughly 57% of motorists were opposed to the plan. Luke's motion will be brought up at the March 4th Public Works Committee. Most of the province is looking at a low to moderate risk of spring flooding, according to the latest assessment by Manitoba's Hydrologic Forecast Centre. As it stands now, a moderate flood risk is in effect for the Red, Pembina, Assiniboine, Souris, and Qu'Appelle rivers, along with the Interlake region and portions of the Saskatchewan River in northern Manitoba. The risk is considered low for tributaries feeding into the Red and Assiniboine rivers, including the Rat and Roseau rivers, along with eastern Manitoba, the Winnipeg River Basin, and the Whiteshell Lakes area. Most Manitoba lakes also have a low risk of spring flooding. However, the agency says the risk is largely dependent on weather conditions and precipitation between now and the spring melt. All right, let's bring in Colleen Brady now and get a first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. What are you tracking for us tonight, Colleen?
Well, temperatures will be rising overnight, merrily not enough to trigger that spring melt. In fact, we can add a little bit more snow to the pile. Light snow is crossing southern Manitoba as we speak. You can see it's just on Winnipeg's doorstep. This won't last long, but along with the warmer air comes some other potential weather conditions overnight, which I'll tell you about. How long will this mild weather last? Not long, I'm afraid. So we're still on on that temperature roller coaster. I'll show you the latest forecast numbers coming up a little later. The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution in Winnipeg right now. Minus 13 degrees and mostly cloudy with those south winds at 21 kilometers an hour. The wind chill feels like minus 21. The pressure's dropping and the humidity is 68%. Out in traffic, a live look at Portage Avenue in front of Polo Park. You see westbound traffic is a parking lot. Also, you see those fire trucks there responding to a vehicle collision. Best to avoid that area if you can. Make your way over to some of those streets just north of Polo Park to get around.
The poverty situation in our province continues to worsen.
I don't think we can still use the word shock because it's chronic in Manitoba to have a bad situation.
An ever-increasing gap. How many children are living in poverty and what can be done to help?
NVIDIA cleared the high bar with fourth quarter results that beat estimates as well as a strong outlook for the first quarter. The company's fiscal fourth quarter surged 73% from the previous year and reported profits nearly double to roughly $43 billion. CEO Jensen Huang implied these results feed into his thesis that the AI boom is still in its early stages of a build-out. NVIDIA's stock price rose nearly 4% in extended trading after those results came out. And here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar was up 10 cents to end the day. West Texas Intermediate dropped to 65.47. Western Canadian Select also down 50 cents to end the day. And the TSX closed on yet another new high, finishing above 34,000. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Market Watch is brought to you by Manitoba Blue Cross. Group health plans for any size business.
Housing unit permits in downtown Winnipeg have surged to a 15-year high. According to new figures from the city, more than 1,000 new housing units were approved in 2025. The city says that's the highest amount in at least 15 years and could possibly be the highest in the city's history. The figure is nearly double the amount of permits issued in the strongest pre-pandemic years. Officials say even more builds are on the way in 2026, with several projects already announced. We're getting a better understanding of the depth of poverty in Manitoba tonight.
I don't think we can still use the word shock because it's chronic in Manitoba to have a bad situation for many, many children.
The report by Campaign 2000 finds the depth of poverty, or how far below the poverty line children are living, is greater in Manitoba than anywhere in the rest of Canada. The poverty gap increased between $14,000 and $19,000 from 2020 to 2023. It's the highest for single parents, where almost 2 out of 3 children are living in poverty. 85,790 children were living in poverty in 2023. That's 270 more than the previous year.
So let's work on those kids. Let's stop doing programs, tax relief, gas tax holidays, that kind of throw the money into way too wide a circle, and let's focus on those families and make sure that they have everything that they need.
Kate Keeler says that includes a living wage, good job strategy, and educational programs. Campaign 2000 is also pushing for a 50% reduction in child poverty by 2028. Bringing a taste of Ireland to Winnipeg. We'll tell you when some World Championship Irish dancers will perform here. Stay with us.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Ravine. The legend continues.
Colleen Brady is back now for Spotlight, and get ready because some of the world's top Irish dancers will jig their way into Winnipeg this spring.
That's right, and it's all for a show called A Taste of Ireland. It features a cast of former national and world Irish dance champions. A blend of cultural traditions and a modern flair, the story follows the birth of a nation through rhythm and beat, from the Vikings' landing to the rise and fall of rebellion. You can catch A Taste of Ireland Saturday, May 30th at the Burton Cummings Theatre. Tickets go on sale Friday through Ticketmaster.
All right, now to some pretty exciting news about Wednesday. coincidentally on a Wednesday.
It makes perfect sense. We can tell you who will be in the upcoming season for the Netflix show. The full cast has been announced for season 3. Jenna Ortega will be back in her role as Wednesday Addams, along with Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia. Winona Ryder has booked a guest star role as Tabitha. Ortega and Ryder last shared the screen together for Tim Burton's Beetlejuice sequel. Season 3 of Wednesday is now in production.
All right, another day and another success for Taylor Swift.
It's been a minute. The Billboard chart is bejeweled thanks to this singer. Taylor Swift's song Opalite is shining on the Billboard Hot 100. It's now her 14th #1 track. I thought that number would be higher, actually. She's tied with Rihanna for the 3rd most Hot 100s after the Beatles and Mariah Carey.
Interesting. All right, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has announced its nominees for 2026.
And Marilee, this year's list is the largest ever with 17 artists.
Please give me one more night. Give me one more night.
Oh, great pick. They include Phil Collins, Lauryn Hill.
Not in there
I know. It's some of these are always shocking, right? That they aren't already in there. But Phil Collins is up this year. Lauryn Hill is too. She was just here in Winnipeg a few months ago. Wu-Tang Clan, Shakira, and Luther Vandross. 10 of the people to make the list are first-time nominees. The only artist to be nominated in their first year of eligibility is Pink. Returning to the ballot again are the Black Crowes and Billy Idol. Oasis is also back on the list despite singer Liam Gallagher disavowing the Hall of Fame. Heavy metal band Iron Maiden is also returning for the 3rd time.
Yeah, a lot of those should get in. How many get in?
I don't know. How many times does it take?
I don't
know. How many times?
Well, we don't get to vote, so
no, we
just get to report on it. So
right.
those of you that can vote good.
Yeah. Vote often. Vote. Yeah.
Thanks, Colleen.
You know what we mean. Your CTV primetime lineup begins tonight at 7 with The Masked Singer. Fear Factor House of Fear is at 8, and then 2 episodes of Scrubs is on at 9.
CTV Primetime Lineup brought to you by the Parkway Retirement Community. Welcome home.
Vote early, vote often. Well, there's a fellow there making his way across McPhillips. Otherwise, traffic moving well there. Good news, though, Portage Avenue westbound just approaching St. James. That crash has now cleared and traffic is getting back to normal.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
People living in Newfoundland are calling for help after being walloped by a major snowfall. Some parts of that province received up to 150 centimeters of snow, leaving the city struggling to clear all of it. Making matters worse, howling wind gusts reaching 80 kilometers an hour. And we're told the snow continues to fall, making driving conditions extremely difficult. Many residential streets still only have 1 lane of traffic, leading to frustration and forcing motorists to plan ahead for longer drives.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
I don't care what you're tracking. As long as it's not that, Colleen, I'm happy.
It's an infinitesimal fraction in terms of the snow that's about to move into Winnipeg compared to that. Yikes, indeed. My goodness, that whole eastern coast just hammered hard, to say the least, over the last couple of days, to be sure. Now, while it's been a little cooler here still in Manitoba, particularly here in the south by late February standards, there is warm air on the way. It just has to weave its way through Alberta and Saskatchewan first. It's in the process of doing that. But along with the warmer air comes various forms of precipitation, or the potential for it. We have a little bit of light snow crossing the south right now. It's just on Winnipeg's doorstep, although there's actually even a glimpse of some sunshine still downtown. But you can see a little bit of clearing out in front of it, but then in comes the snow. So that's why there. Further to the east, closer to an area of high pressure over Ontario. The sun was shining on northwestern Ontario this afternoon. Clouds starting to spread east out of Manitoba and into that part of Ontario where it's -15 in Kenora. Here in Winnipeg and Steinbach, -13 degrees. Minus -11 in Portage, minus single digits. That's nice for Brandon and Melita, -9 and -8 degrees. In the north, in Thompson right now, it's -17. Over in Lynn Lake, -16 degrees. But then you get up to Churchill, it is a colder, -26. But under the influence of that high pressure center in Ontario, the sun was shining as well on the northeastern part of Manitoba. Now tonight, here comes that band of snow. There's not much to it. It's light snow. It moves along pretty quickly, and it really should be wrapping up by the time we get to midnight or so for Winnipeg and the areas right around the city. But pops off just through northwestern Ontario there. Again, not much to it, and it moves along through that region pretty quickly. So we get into Thursday, that warmer air invades the province, but along the way overnight, there's the potential both for freezing drizzle and for fog patches across much of the south, including Winnipeg. All the way already by tomorrow afternoon, the next band of snow comes through. It could clip us here with a few flurries in the Red River Valley, but that snow is more focused for central and northern parts of the province. It keeps on coming on Friday. As we get into Friday morning, it will still be very mild here in the south, but then accompanying winds with this system will send temperatures plummeting into the mid-minus teens by the afternoon and then back into the -20s overnight. Now, while the temperatures will be falling then, tonight, instead of falling, they will be rising. That's why the asterisk is there. We'll see temperatures rise a couple of degrees up to about -10 by morning, with that light snow likely for a few hours this evening. South winds at 20 at their top speed, lighter south winds tomorrow, a high of -3, mix of sun and cloud with the potential for fog patches in the morning. So just watch out for that. And then again, we could get clipped by a flurry or two in the afternoon. The chance at this point is pretty low. -4 again, the highest temperature before temperatures drop to -14 in the afternoon Friday. Look at that, -25 Friday night, -18 Saturday, -12 on Sunday, and then back into minus single digits by next week. So meteorological spring starts on Sunday, but it'll miss by a day. It'll be warmer by Monday. Shalina sent this first photo from the Bunny Bonnie Bee Cremation, also known as Oxford House, of the Northern Lights out on display. She took that fabulous photo, and Lucy said it was a beautiful day along the winter roads up near Norway House. Send us your photos to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. All right, now to an unusual arrest in Ohio that shows how one man's trash may be another man's escape plan. You'll understand when you see this. Take a look. A sanitation worker is startled when he opens a trash bin and the police dash cam captures it all. A man pops out of that bin and makes a run for it. Yeah. Now, authorities say they lost sight of this suspect earlier in the day when he fled from a traffic stop. Yeah. In the end, the getaway plan proved to be rubbish. Ba-bum-bum. The suspect was chased down and taken into custody. That poor garbage worker, that was scary.
Startled, yeah.
All right, stay out of trouble out there, folks.
Trashy ending.
We're back at 6 with more local news. Hope to see you then.